Hello, my darling Cupid dolls. My hair is a little bit of a mess, but I showered yesterday. It's just, it came out of the braids a little bit. Yeah, I finally showered, y'all. Look at me. Woo! So far, my track record is I still shower more often than the girls of Girl World. Oh, God. I am terrified to know what Chantal will be smelling like, because where she's at presently, like, I swear to God, I can smell her through the screen. I'll worry about that, though. That's not a good place to be. That's not a good country to be in with the kind of health conditions she got going on. Like, I think she's an awful person exploiting other people, especially when she was trying to exploit that fucking child. That's probably, like, each time I think Chantal can't get any lower, she does. She fucking surprises me over and over, and it's like, bitch, you found a fucking way to dig under hell. You know? Jesus. But yeah. I actually think I'm going to make this a video here expressing the same sentiment that I'm going to put on my other channel, my reaction channel. And then what I'm going to do is do actual reactions, but I'm going to do it, you know, a respectful way. Instead of being a fucking douchebag about it. My issue with reaction channels has a lot to do with how they approach it. When it comes to the kind of mental illnesses that Amberlynn Reid has, to approach it the way they're approaching it is the worst way to approach it. It's like, when it comes to the kind of issues she's got, you know, it's like chess, but on like a different level, you know. You gotta be very, very careful with how you approach the whole thing. And the thing is, I genuinely don't think she's actually a narcissist. I just think she has narcissistic traits, and those traits are indeed what the internet is actually forcing out of her. Hear me out for a second. So, my dad's a narcissist. My mom is a borderline. I'm familiar with both. I was raised by one of each. Now, Amberlynn, I will not deny, does show some narcissistic traits, but however, these are traits that were forced based on how the internet has treated her. Because the traits that we are seeing are where she tries to project a specific false image of herself out for the internet. And this comes from a place of severe self-loathing. Everyone thinks a narcissist is actually full of themselves and loves themselves, but they don't. They actually hate themselves more than they hate anyone else. And they want to hide from the world, so they create this facade. And all of their energy becomes part of upkeep for this facade. To the point where they'll damage everyone around them without even knowing. Now, I don't hold Amberlynn to the same standards I hold my dad to, because she did not have children. And therefore, for her, it's not quite the same. My dad should have got his shit together. He should have seen a therapist and got his shit together so he didn't break all of us. That's on him. But I do think that I understand how to approach her. And I do think I understand how to handle the situation around that overall. Holy shit, I puked last night. I forgot I did that. Sorry, last night's really fuzzy. But yeah. The thing is my dad is a narcissist with borderline traits. There's a lot of spillover when it comes to cluster B personality disorders. And that is kind of what I'm getting at here is the more the internet keeps pushing, the more likely the more the internet keeps pushing, the more likely they're going to actually end up becoming a self-fulfilling prophecy in creating the very thing that they've been accusing her of being. Like I said, borderlines will have crossover traits of the narcissist in that they also don't have a very stable sense of self. However, one comes from not knowing oneself independently, or not knowing how to know oneself independently of others, and the other comes from not knowing oneself or not liking oneself enough to actually be oneself. So the whole thing is bent on being anyone else, creating a new person to be. What can I say? I work with a very specific type of person. Because come to think of it, narcissists and borderlines are like the people that I attract to me the most. Like those are the people that end up becoming my friends. And it's like, and I know how to talk to them, and I know how to gently like handle them. It's just when they start blowing up shit in my life is when I cut them off. Looking at you, Andy. But yeah. But Andy also doesn't want to change. Andy's borderline, by the way. Allegedly. Also, I don't think Andy actually has fucking autism. I think that Andy does certainly have ADHD, but definitely not autism. Just similarities with the autism traits due to the ADHD. But yeah. But what do I know? I'm only going to college. So, I actually have quite a few interesting theories on these matters. But we're not here to discuss those. Those are for another day, another video. I still need to fully formulate my ideas before I can actually come forth and posit them. Lest I look like an ass. A dumbass, of course. To clarify what type. But no, I do feel that what reaction channels are doing is absolutely abhorrent and is actually more damaging. They think that they're coming from a good place or trying to help, but the thing is they're making things worse. From a psychological standpoint, they are making things worse and they need to stop. It's one thing to hold a person accountable, but it's another to straight up bully. Like, I've stopped watching a lot of the reaction channels. The only one that I still watch is Charlie Gold when she's doing Chantal content. I never really got into Charlie Gold's other content, really. I just really love her Chantal content. She's the only reaction channel I actually like watching Chantal content through. Otherwise, I don't even follow Chantopolis, as Jordy would call it. But Jordy's a little bit mean. That's sugarcoating it. He's actually terribly mean. Mr. Snowflake, you see, at first, he was pretty decent about it, rooting for her, wanting the best for her, but he didn't approach it in the right way for this type of issues. But, hey, you know, not even in this psychiatric, sorry, the gimp leg got gimpier. Sorry, I'm hobbling. This summer's kicked my ass. Anyway, cheers. Oh. I sit over here because it's the only way I get to see the sun without it hurting me. And the wee hours of morning, the sun is on that side of the building, so it doesn't shine through this window. So I get to look outside and enjoy the light without it hurting me or making me sick. But anyway, neither here nor there. I just wanted to explain myself. So, I feel like a lot of the psychiatric field, due to the stigma surrounding these types of disorders, I feel like it's still vastly misunderstood or not fully understood to the fullest extent due to the stigma. And that's honestly why those are specific areas that I plan on studying, because if I'm too disabled to practice medicine by the time I get through college, which I very well might be, I'm going to pivot into specializing in the very stigmatized psychological disorders, because these people need treatment too, man. And there's just a particular way they need to be approached, that's all. And like I said, I grew up with a narcissistic father and a borderline mother. So I know very well how to do this stance. I used to quite like the reaction channels. I thought they were funny. They were a nice distraction from my life. For a second, I wanted to be one, but I realized I didn't quite like how mean they were, and I didn't quite feel like I could be that mean, and that's why it kind of fell flat. And I kind of abandoned it after, 2 videos. I think the way I'm going to approach it now, first of all, I need to learn how to do picture-in-picture, because I really don't know how to do that. I'm not going to lie. That's why I was using the TV and the reaction channel videos as my thing. Oh no, that thread's not allowed to leave. I'm going to find that thought again. Also, delicious acne. But I'm not picking at it. Look, I haven't picked at this one at all. I'm letting it heal on its own. I didn't even pop it. Because if I pop it, that starts the picking cycle. But I washed it. Of course, I always wash it. My face actually does get washed a lot more regularly than the rest of me. As pitiful as that sounds. But yeah. But no, I genuinely feel that, because, okay, so how the internet tends to approach Amberlynn. Now, I cannot speak on the topic of Chantal, because Chantal's a different kind of beast, and I don't think she doesn't even seem to have any kind of remorse or anything. She just might be a fucking sociopath, Chantal. I know that's not actually a fucking thing anymore, but I'm just being dramatic. Shit. I don't know anything when it comes to Chantal. Uh, she's chaotic and daft. That's what I gathered so far. With Amberlynn, though, I've noticed that a lot of what she's doing with her channel has been an attempt to protect herself and protect her peace from her own audience, from the reaction channels. You see, when you approach somebody with the kind of psychological disorders that Amberlynn allegedly has, and or is suspected to maybe have by these people, to approach her that way is only going to make things worse and make her double down and kind of close herself off to these people. That's when you see her content stop being honest or open. That's when you see it become this very dry, boring, stale bread of content. Her audience created this beast. Sorry, my sister texted me and I saw it pop up on here. Oh, shit. Okay. Anyway, I need to catch my breath. My blood pressure's a dummy. So, everyone's complaining about who Amberlynn has become on the internet. And I'm not saying that she shouldn't be held accountable. It's just there's a different way to hold these types of people accountable than the way the internet is approaching it. And the thing is it takes baby steps to approach this issue. At least when it comes to the likes of Amberlynn. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of familiarity to her. And maybe that's why I'm drawn to her, is because of the fact that, to me, she's so familiar in a way, because of the fact that I grew up with parents kind of similar to her. But yeah, it's a very delicate dance. So when you hold someone accountable, you kind of gotta almost act like you're on their side about it, but still kind of be like, understanding and sympathetic, if that makes sense. Even if you don't actually think that what they did was even remotely close to something you can be sympathetic towards. But yeah. I stopped watching a lot of the reaction channels for this reason. And Hector Khan is kind of a bitch. I'm sorry, but he's kind of like, he can be a little bit rude for no reason. Like, I don't know what it is about his personality, but it rubs me the wrong fucking way. Like, I don't know. And you know what else rubs me the wrong way? How these idiots be sitting here talking about this shit, asking questions, and I'm sitting there talking to, like, the screen, and I'm like, you're a fucking dumbass. How dare you fucking talk about this topic if you don't know shit about it? Doing more harm than good. Adding stigma to these fucking issues, which is actually going to just do more harm to people who actually, you know, are out there suffering from it, including our girls. Well, actually, nobody accused Chantal of having anything of the sort, just Amberlynn, but still. That's the thing. From a psychiatric perspective, they're going about it wrong. And that's why I find them abhorrent. They're doing damage not just to her, but others who suffer from the same issues. Because the more you add to the stigma, the more the idea spreads that people with these particular issues are inherently bad or evil. And it's already a really messy world with these disorders. Having one of these diagnoses on your record can get you completely ignored by specific medical professionals. There are medical professionals who refuse to work with people who have borderline or narcissistic personality disorder. That's a fact. And it's not just in the psychiatric field, that's the medical field too. To clarify myself. So to even have that diagnosis on her record might actually screw her in the future. But yeah, everyone's being a dick about it. It's like, I kind of hope to God she doesn't have it on her actual record, though. I'm not going to lie, because it's like, I can tell that she definitely has it with a lot of the narcissistic spillover traits, but like I said, the cluster Bs, they spill over into each other quite often when it comes to some of their traits. It's like the autism and ADHD. ADHD might have some traits that are similar to autism, but they're not completely the same or completely similar in every way. It's like that. There are certain traits that spill over that are similar between the two. And that's why everyone's been picking up on that. But the thing is she is indeed behaving. I'm shaking. Oh. Breakfast of Champions. Ooh. Need to catch my breath a second. So, and the thing is I've been poring over a lot of her old content. I've been poring over the archives. And the more I pour over it, the more I'm realizing that everyone is a fucking douche. And don't get me wrong. There are things that she's done. And there are things she needs to be taking accountability for. But, in my opinion, we're not going to get her to do that until there's some degree of recovery or treatment regarding these disorders. Regarding these symptoms, I should say. Get where I'm coming from? So, we keep slapping this stigmatized label upon her and expecting her to go get help in a system that refuses to help people with those issues. Don't get me wrong, BPD is becoming something that in the psychiatric field is becoming more and more treated, I guess. It's not being so much blacklisted the way it was before. Sufferers of it, that is. But in the medical field, it still can get you screwed. Just ask my sister, my college sister, to clarify. The one that actually looks uncannily like me. She's actually technically my cousin, but, you know. Found that out, and that was pretty awesome, actually. But we call each other sisters. She used to go by Cassie, but now she goes by Ellie. But yeah. So, how do we actually reconcile with this? With an issue that we created as an audience? Because I'm not going to pretend that I am innocent. I also jumped on that bandwagon because, like I said, it offered a nice little distraction. But I started pouring over her past content, and I'm realizing that this is a genuinely very broken person. I've been digging through the archives, so to speak. And it's just, I feel like there's a lot more nuance the conversation needs to have. Everyone's seeing it in black and white, and that's the problem. Like I said, I'm not denying that she needs to take accountability. I'm just saying that you guys as an audience and reaction channel, any of you guys who actually do fall into the Amberverse anyway, are approaching it wrong and making it worse. And yeah, and so I have the balls to come here and be like, yeah, I was fucking wrong. I was being a dick. I was being a dick because I was projecting onto her my anger and issues with my own parents. But I'm kind of over that shit now, and I feel very sympathetic towards her now. Even though she has her moments that are not grand at all. That's the thing. That's the thing about life. Everyone hurts somebody at some point. It's inevitable. She's just done more egregious things comparatively. Man, I feel like I'm having an out-of-body experience. Today's a really weird day. But yeah. Like I said, I'm going to go ahead and put another video similar to this one, or just plop this one up on both channels. Screw it. Am I allowed to do that? Probably not. I'll plop this one up on my main, then on my personal channel, and then I'll put on the frog hoodie and get to work. But I think I'm going to be much more scripted in the frog hoodie. This is more of my raw ramblings. This is what the purpose of this channel is. It's just literally me rambling at my camera. But, well, actually I'm rambling at my phone, but regardless. But I plan on it being a little bit better structured over on the reaction channel of mine, Annie and Girl World. I wear a frog hoodie over there. I found my frog bucket hat. Finally. Where did I put it, though? Bro, my memory is cooked. But yeah. And the reaction channels have gotten incredibly petty about it, too. And that bothers me as well. I have respect for a few who don't pick on her for her weight or her look or the way she looks or any of that, who genuinely just want to hold her accountable. I have more respect for those people than the likes of others who are like, what is that? Every time they look at the screen and Amber pops up. That's just fucking cruel. Like, how fucking awful are you going to feel whenever her time finally comes? Are you going to feel any regret for how you treated her in life? Is this going to be similar to Life by Jen? Are we only going to see the error of our ways after she's gone? I think that's abhorrent. I know Life by Jen didn't have the same kind of scandals that Amber did, but these are mentally ill people that are being attacked by the internet. That's the point I'm getting at. And they're being attacked by uneducated people on the internet, mind you. People who think that they know these matters because they might have taken a psychology class once, or maybe watched a couple of those informational psychology videos that are animated real cutesy like on YouTube. They pop up in my feed sometimes, but I don't fucking entertain them. But yeah. So it's just, I'm dead exhausted. Sorry, y'all. I'm sorry, I'm just really tired. But yeah, it's just, I don't even know what to do, but it terrifies the hell out of me what everyone's kind of been doing. Because it's like, I don't see this actually going very well, ultimately. If this, like, pattern continues with the audience and her trying to protect herself from the audience. The more she withdraws, the less likely you're going to get accountability, you see. The more she'll double down. Now you understand where I'm coming from? Let me break this down. So, you gotta kind of appeal in a gentle way. When you approach it like an attack like most of Girl World tends to, the reaction side of Girl World, I should say, because the thing is my fascination isn't just the girls of Girl World. It's the audience just as much, because I recognize that they are a part of it as well. They're part of the cycle. Congratulations. Ooh, my toes are purple. Gross. Raynaud's, yo. For clarification, Raynaud's is a condition in which or a phenomenon in which your blood capillaries constrict in cold or chilly weather, cutting off blood flow to your extremities, often your fingers, toes, and ears and shit. In extreme cases, this can cause tissue death and worse. Anywho, back on topic. So, okay, let's have a hypothetical moment here. Let's say, for instance, I don't know. For our purposes, here's Agnes. let's say, for instance, Agnes here has BPD with narcissistic spillover traits. In her delusional mind, she doesn't realize she's done anything wrong. But her audience disagrees with her and does it in an attacking and unsympathetic manner, approaching it in a way that shows how little they actually know. Nope. Sorry. I would tell you what I'm doing, but I'm not going to, because it is actually the weirdest thing. Anywho. So, oh God. Sorry, my left leg is actually a freeloader. At this rate, I'll have to use a cane in my own home. I think I'm going to have to get an indoor cane, though, because, like, I have a policy about shoes off. Shoes off when you enter the door, so there needs to be an indoor cane. Because if I'm going to have that policy for shoes, I should have that policy for my cane, too. I know, just the one. I just need to get it out of storage. I have this wooden, old-fashioned style cane. It'll be my home cane. I'll just clean off the little end of it, and it'll be just like all good as new. Ooh, snap, crackle, and pop. But yeah. So, like I was saying for our example, so Agnes runs a little YouTube channel. She does some things that are a little bit fucked up, but in her head, she doesn't realize that she's done anything wrong. Her audience attacks her for it, and she's baffled. Because in her head, she hasn't done anything wrong. In her head, she's even taken accountability for the things that she did do wrong. She is wrong about this, but the thing is, in her head, she doesn't feel like she is. People continue attacking her. She becomes hopeless and doesn't know what else to do. She puts her guard up. People continue the attack. She puts her guard up further and retreats behind it. She forms a facade to place upon the internet to hide behind. And her audience just attacks her further, making baseless accusations without any kind of psychiatric education. Because in my opinion, in the psychological field, they don't even fucking understand this shit fully either. Hate to say it. So, but yeah. I do feel like this is going to end very badly if people don't chill the hell out and stop being such douchebags and speaking on things they know nothing about. I'm sorry, but Google, it might be free and it might lead you to all kinds of answers, but it doesn't count as an education. Because any old schmo can put anything up on Google, any kind of information they want up on the internet. I could make up a random-ass website right now, give it the keywords that will make it pop up in the Google searches pertaining to these topics, and it could be just a bunch of rubbish. It could be just a bunch of hogwash. And people would absolutely believe it. That's the thing. Wow, I can't feel my body. Okay. Okie dokie. That's peculiar. That's okay. Last night I couldn't even feel my face. almost die last night? Or was that a dream? I had a very peculiar dream. It was very vivid. I thought it was real. When I woke up, I expected things to be, because it was such a realistic dream. So I expected certain things to be in a certain way because that dream was that realistic. Like, it was so mundane, too. How bizarre. Anyway, neither here nor there. Sorry. ADHD brain. I haven't taken my meds yet. Forgive me. So in that scenario, who's really the guilty party anymore? Are we not complicit? See, the more we attack her, the more she'll lash out at those around her, whether she means to or not. So does that make her victims our victims too? At least on the YouTube side of it. Because I've noticed a pattern. Yeah, there's been enough now for me to see the pattern. I'm not excusing her behavior, but I've noticed that it is a reaction to stress. Others are attacking her, so she attacks those she supposedly loves or cares about. Not the first time I've seen this, actually. Fairly common. For instance, now I'm not going to refer to season 1 nor 2 in referring to this, because those had their own stressors within her personal life that I do not personally know about, but not so much on the online world, because she either wasn't yet even on YouTube or wasn't really known on YouTube yet. See, I managed to avoid using specific words. Look at me go. Other people would have probably made a fat joke. But no. And the thing is I think it's absolutely abhorrent as well for people to be criticizing her for her weight when she has a very obvious mental illness. And the thing is it's really not fair, actually, to do that, because it's like, are we also going to attack anybody who is addicted to drugs? Are we going to attack everyone who might be addicted to self-harming? Because, I mean, that's really what that is, what she's doing with the food. It's a symptom of a bigger problem. And the only reason everyone's attacking her for it, because this is an ugly symptom. The thing is, I really do hope she recovers. This is not a fun way to go. It's not a pleasant way to go. It is a brutal, slow, and miserable way to go. In fact, I dare say starving to death is actually easier. Speaking as someone who has starved for long periods. So it's just, So, with Destiny. While her audience was attacking her, at the same time, she was also in her almost one of her most iconic eras. And Destiny, from what I understand, did not face any physical violence. Just mostly her controlling manipulations, which are always going to be common for those types of people when they think they're going to be abandoned. I'm sorry, but that's part of the illness. The more they think you're going to leave, the harder they hold on. The more they try to keep you. It's a fear thing. It's not healthy. I'm not excusing it. But that's the explanation behind it. And I'm saying she really fucking needs help. Amberlynn does. But yeah. And then we have the back era. By this point, Amber has full-on internet enemies, I suppose, attacking her on the regular. Not to mention the fact that she had just been left by Destiny, who she still desperately wanted back. This created a very unhealthy dynamic. The more the internet seemed to attack her, the more I reckon she took it out on those around her. I saw a pattern. I've been observing it for a few years, but I didn't want to speak on it until I had confirmation of the pattern. Thanks, Emily, for confirming. I haven't talked to Emily to clarify Tommy. I don't actually know what she personally wants to go by. I just know based on what Amber said she wanted to go by Tommy. But I don't know. I have never heard her say that she would prefer to go by Tommy. But yeah. To be fair though, it's not like she's like actually had any real major roles on the channel to have actually been able to say such. So I guess I'm just gonna call her Tommy then. That's our most recent example. The audience was definitely attacking very viciously at that point. And I know that they were allegedly doing so from a good place, but fuck intentions. What's the outcome? I can intend something good, like doing something great to help people, and if somebody accidentally gets killed because of my actions, even if my intentions were good, I'm still responsible for that. You know? Manslaughter is still a thing for that kind of scenario. Where it's like, oh, I accidentally fucking killed a person. Like, clarifying that I did no such thing. But I just wanted to clarify that it's just an example. You see, intentions and ignorance do not absolve anyone. And that includes the reaction channels. And I I've noticed that whenever the audience be attacking her, she has a tendency to kind of treat those around her poorly. The worse it gets, the worse they get treated. Got physically violent with Jade. Allegedly got physically violent with Tommy. These are both alleged, by the way. Jade and Tommy, that is. And if that is in fact true, because I really don't trust Alexis for shit either, if that's true, we also know that that's when the audience was indeed attacking at full force. Attacking her for being boring during the Jade era. Attacking her for being with a feeder during the Tommy blip. Just a little tiny blip. Because that's really what it was. It's just a tiny blip of time. So yeah. I don't know. I'll see you guys in the next one. I was just rambling out my ass. I had to put this video out there. It felt very crucial. Because, there was another, YouTuber who also got a lot of, hate. And, I just don't want Amberlynn to meet a similar fate. It would be fucking awful. And I just don't want to see it end in such a way. I really don't. Because you guys don't realize it. She's not going to kill herself in the way that everyone normally does. She's been doing it slowly for years. With everyone making it worse. But being so cruel. That's the thing. I think that this is a time where people need to sit down and be quiet if they haven't got anything nice or educated to say. I know they won't. I'm an internet nobody. That's okay. My reaction channel is pivoting. My reaction channel is about to become a lot of fun. What if I became nitpicky? Because I can nitpick them just as much as they nitpick Amberlynn. It's very easy. And my nitpicks will be actually valid. You know how many times Jordy opens his mouth and doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about? More times than I can count. I stopped watching him for that reason. Plus, he's also kind of bitchy. I know, he's joking, but it still rubs me the wrong way. Sometimes the way he, conducts himself. A lot of times. I don't know what it is. I find it very grating. Like I said, I can't stand Hecticana because he's kind of has an arrogance about him, like he knows everything when he opens his mouth and clearly knows nothing on a lot of topics. But I do like his bingo. The bingo's fun. Salty Crab and Karina Kaboom, I have very mixed feelings towards. I feel like I was kind of misled about things, about the lives, the membership only lives, I should clarify. Considering now being a member at $5, because thankfully she dropped the price, and it's like, yes, I can afford this. Uh, um, I'm broke and I have no income. What can I say? I don't even have Spotify anymore, man. During the school term, I plan on changing that, hopefully. Oh, I need to check my school emails. That reminds me. Super crucial, that. Answer me, damn it. Anyway. But I went back and watched the first one, and they said they had, kind of downplayed, like, they kind of, like, dismissed a lot of her little hobbies, and she was showing us, and I was like, actually, why did they fucking imply that, oh, it's just a lame little sticker book? She actually did a really lovely job. How dare they take something so small and minor that she was excited to show us and, like, criticize her for it? Now that's a dick move. There was no reason for that. That was uncalled for. It's just the way they continuously just talk down about everything that she has interest in or that she enjoys. It just, it rubs me the wrong way. It really does, because life is a fucking miserable thing, especially in the present day. We don't know what the future holds, or if there even is much of one. And the world feels like it's, like, in chaos. So, if she likes putting stickers in a little book, who cares? If that what calms her down, then that's that. I also want to clarify that I am also familiar with the game of Choosy. It wasn't until she mentioned it, or Beck mentioned it, actually. Pardon me. And I immediately recognized it for what it was, because I was like, oh, I play that. But I only play it on my own with myself. Kinda. It's how I decide what my dolls are going to wear. Partially. And also what I'm going to wear. Usually, it's not with my whole, like, fucking collection or anything. It's like I pick a few and then play Choosy amongst those. But yeah. So, I don't know. But I just... Like I said, I just can't stand how the audience has, and the reaction channels have been behaving toward her. It's kind of ugly, actually. Unproductive, even. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.